Hey everyone, welcome to the video. This one we're going over the 2-game NBA slate for tonight on Draftkings. And yes, I said 2-game NBA slate. It sucks, I know. I can live with a 4-game NBA slate. I can live with that. 3 games is pushing it. 2 games, it's just downright awful. But I'm sure you guys are going to play it, and I am as well. So I'll break it down anyway. But before we continue, if you guys could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPinell16. I do not have a lot of Twitter followers. Maybe if we could boost that up a little bit, that'd be pretty cool. And I said in my NFL Showdown video, I was thinking about getting a green screen so I don't have to have this box video of me taking up a fifth of the screen. So I just went on Amazon, and they have like a pop-up one that's like from Elgato. So it's pretty nice. So I ordered that. It'll be here Friday. So I'll have just have a transparent background now. Won't have to have any of this workout equipment in the back and whatever. So it should look a little bit better. Should look a little bit more clean. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My spreadsheets are available in the link in the description below if you want my projections and stuff. Had another good night tonight as well. Trying to think of what. Oh, Luka. I should probably Doncic. He went absolutely nuts. He had a 30-point triple double in what was it, 26 minutes? Is that what it was? I know it was the first time in like history. So that was awesome. Hopefully you guys played Luka. 80% of the people didn't cash game. So I'm assuming you guys played Luka. But yeah, he was pretty awesome. And yeah, that was pretty much the highlight of this slate last night. So yeah, let's talk about this one. So we're gonna start up top. We got Giannis here at 10,600. And basically, it's not. You have to play him. There's no way of getting around that. He is the lock of this slate. You're gonna just have to find a way to get him into your lineup. I don't care what you have to do, because we have a small 2-game slate here, and with Lillard out, he is the only superstar in the slate. And it's not like Lillard's on Giannis's level anyway. So there's no one really here that can compete with his nightly upside. And if he goes off, I really don't think anyone on the slate has the potential of hanging with him, so you're going to pretty much have to have him here. And he's only 10,600 for some reason, because he's usually in the 10,000, or not the 10,000, the 11,000, mid 11,000, mid 11K to 12K range, which we've seen the past few games, 11.2, 11.3, 12K, 11.7. Now he's all the way down at 10,600, so DraftKings is basically just begging for him to be 100% owned tonight in cash games, which I'm going to assume he's going to be pretty darn close to it. We've seen good plays like 98 to 99% owned, so I have no reason to believe that Giannis won't be like 100% owned at 10,600. And yeah, and it's deservedly so, though. He's obviously been great this year. He's getting about 33 minutes per game, and he has an insane 1.86 points per minute, which leads everybody on the slate by a good margin. And he's been actually at about 2 points per minute with Chris Middleton off the floor so far. And it's a great matchup versus Portland as well. They're giving up the 5th most fantasy points per game collectively as a unit, and more specifically, they are 27th versus power forward. So Giannis should smash here. Both teams are top 10 in pace of play, with the Bucks being third in pace of play and Portland being 9th. So he should eat. He's mispriced. He's the only superstar on the slate. Get him in your lineups. I don't care how you do it. Just play him. So obviously you got to like Giannis. I'm sure everyone's going to too. He's probably going to be everyone's thumbnail for their YouTube videos today, so he's gonna be mine. So I haven't made it yet, but I know he's already gonna be it. So definitely like Giannis. Damian Lillard is out, so that opens up a little bit of value there. But let's talk about Devin Booker at 8,500. So I love the spot for him, but if I just put on my tinfoil conspiracy theory hat for a second, the trends would suggest he's due for a bad game here. Because just look at his game log this season. He has been hot and cold all season. So 51 last game, great. Then 25, not great. 42, 37, not too much of a difference there. But then 44, 33. So up, down, up, down. Then 51, 24. And then 47, 27. And if you extended that past the 10-game log, that would also be correct. I don't know why it's like that, but that's just what he's been doing this season. Now, really, I'm just kidding. Really, I would never say someone's a good or bad play just based off of that alone. It's just fun to observe. But Booker, he had a great game last time out, and that was with Aaron Baines off the court, which he has a 20% usage rate, so this would make some sense here since he had to make up a little bit for his absence. Not that they play the same position or anything, but still a higher usage player going off the court. Obviously, it's going to be a bump to some people. And Baines will be out again, and I think Booker can have another good game. Both teams play pretty fast, as Phoenix is 8th in pace of play, while New Orleans is 4th. Also, it's a good matchup as they struggle versus guards this season. They are 30th versus point guards and 16th versus shooting guards. And on the year, he has a 28% usage rate, and then has been about 1.13 points per minute with upside of more, because the guy's been hot or cold. If he's hitting his shots like he did last game where he scored 30 points, 3 for 6 from 3, 10 for 20, not terrible, not great either, but still had 39 minutes. I did like that. 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 5 fouls, but he had a pretty good game, and I could see him getting about 50 fantasy points again versus New Orleans. Now, I really just, more realistically, I think I have him projected for like 40, 43, somewhere around that, but we'll see how that updates throughout the day. But Devin Booker, I think he's a fine play, 8,500, and I do prefer him over Drew Holiday just because Lonzo might be back and Brandon Ingram's back. I still think he's a fine play, but I just prefer Devin Booker here because he's just the main guy. And then Ricky Rubio as well is dealing with an injury, so we will see there. But CJ McCollum, I think he is a pretty solid play at 7,500 versus Milwaukee here. So no Damian Lillard, so we can obviously look at him as a solid play every single time that Lillard's going to be out. And his price actually dropped 300 from his last game, and they didn't even know Lillard was going to be out for that game. So it really doesn't make too much sense that he's cheaper in this one, knowing that Lillard will be out. But oh well. On the year, he's been about a point per minute guy with a 26% usage rate. And obviously both of those will get boosts with Lillard being out, and he's been getting big minutes this season, averaging nearly 38 minutes per game. And he's gonna have to take a bigger load on with Damian Lillard being out. The offense will flow through him as well. He's also had a nice stretch of games recently too. 42 points, 41, 54, 37, 33, 46. Not too bad. Last bad game being against Brooklyn on November 8th, where he only had 19 fantasy points, but then he had 34, 25, 20. But Damian Lillard is going to be out, so obviously it's a boost to McCollum. 7,500. I do think he's a pretty solid play tonight. Brandon Ingram, you can play him. It's not the best matchup in the world versus Phoenix, but he is a little bit too cheap here. His price came down. He's only $7K, and he's been excellent this year. I mean, 42, 42, 41, 56, 15, he got hurt. 35, 57, 63, 46, 41. I think he's a solid play here at only 7K on the year. He's got a 29% usage rate, 1.3 points per minute, which is very, very good. And at 7K, it's going to be a fast-paced game. I think he's a pretty solid play here. So Brandon Ingram, you can definitely put him in your lineups, and it's only a 2-game slate, so everyone's going to have some ownership, and I wouldn't mind getting exposure to Brandon Ingram. Eric Bledsoe, I think he's a fine option at 6,800. He struggled a bit earlier in the season, but he's been great recently besides the 2 20-point games. Very recently. I just mean like recently in just like the past 10 games. He's been overall pretty good. And this is a pretty good matchup versus Portland. They're 28th versus point guards right now, and he doesn't get huge minutes, but he should push for 30 tonight, if not maybe a little less, but still he's been pretty solid on a point per minute basis at 1.2 points per minute. And I think he can get you 35 to 40 points here, and that's my projection for him as of right now, and I think that's a pretty fair projection. And, he's been hitting that and beating that recently. I mean, we saw 44 versus Atlanta, 27 and 21 versus Chicago and Indy. Yeah, that's a little rough. But then versus Chicago, November 14th, he had 49 fantasy points, then 44 fantasy points, then 42, 34, 43, 33, 37. That's not too bad. So I don't think a 35 to 40 point projection is out of reach. It's definitely possible. He's got the upside of near 50. We saw it versus Chicago. So Eric Bledsoe, I do think he's a pretty fine play here. Good matchup versus Portland, and he's not too expensive. Kelly Oubre, I think he's fine. I don't really love playing Kelly Oubre. I don't even believe I have yet this season. Although he's had some good games, and this is the most expensive we have seen him all season, though. I will say that, which is a little disappointing. It's just, I guess it's not disappointing, but I guess discouraging from wanting to play him. But he's the second best option on the team behind Booker for, scoring points. And, points are going to be scored in this game from Phoenix versus New Orleans, so this does make sense as a mid-range play. He's been about a point per minute guy this year, and he's getting about 30 minutes per game, so do the math. About 30 points per game, and just add in the fast-paced good matchup. So then I think Kelly Oubre would be a pretty solid play. Not someone I'm in love with. My dog just ran up the stairs. Don't know why, but anyway. Kelly Oubre, I think he's a fine mid-range play. Kind of the same with Hassan Whiteside here at 6,500. Normally doesn't see big minutes either, 6,500, but I was talking about Bledsoe there, not Oubre. I was referencing Bledsoe, but he's been pretty good on a points per minute basis, 1.23 points per minute. And it's a middle of the road matchup versus Milwaukee. Not the greatest matchup in the world, not the best either. But he's been solid this season. He's also not been great, but he's been pretty solid in most games. 33, 28, 43, 29, 26, 44, 41, 48, 40, and a nice 4-game stretch there in the 40s, 35. So not too bad from Hassan Whiteside. Now, make sure you monitor his injury, just the news on Twitter all day, because he is dealing with a hip injury. Says he apparently injured his right hip during Tuesday's loss to the Pelicans, so we'll see. If he doesn't play, it's going to open up some more minutes for big men on Portland, so I'll obviously update throughout the day on my spreadsheet, but as of right now, I'm going to assume he plays, but again, if he doesn't, some more minutes will open up. So, all right, and then let's see. Derek Favors is going to be out. Ricky Rubio is doubtful, I believe. Yes, he is doubtful, so Javon Carter, he would be a candidate for extra minutes. Not a candidate, he will get extra minutes. Brook Lopez, not really much of a Brook Lopez guy, but it is a good matchup. Portland is not good versus centers whatsoever. Kenrich Williams at 5,300, he continues to see big minutes. He doesn't really do too much with them, but I mean, I don't want to make that sound like he's been bad, because he's not been. But for his price tag at this point, like if he was in the 4K range, I'd be all about it. At the 5,300 range, yeah, I mean, he's pretty much doing what we'd expect. 33 points, 20 points, 24, 33 versus Portland. But he's seeing big minutes. I mean, 31 minutes, 39, 36, 34. There's just so many injuries on this team. So, he's going to be slotted into that small forward position. So I don't think he's a terrible play. He's been below a point per minute guy, though. But seeing the big minutes, Portland is 20th versus small forwards. It's a good matchup. So Kenrich Williams, I don't think he's a bad play by any means. JJ Redick just continues to hit threes. I mean, he's been shooting a ton of them. 15 attempts on November 11th, then 7, then 11, then 9, and he's been hitting them too. I mean, made 7 threes, made 3, made 6, made 4. Not too bad. He's been pretty solid for fantasy. He's only 5,200. Pretty good matchup versus Phoenix. Oh, did I say Williams was going up against Portland? I meant Phoenix. So I didn't get that mixed. I got it mixed up, but I know they're playing Phoenix, so yeah, Williams is going against Phoenix, not Portland. They just got done playing Portland, so I guess that was in the back of my mind. But yeah, JJ Redick versus Phoenix should be a fast-paced game. I kind of like his chances of hitting a bunch of threes here, which he pretty much does every single game. Seeing big minutes too. I mean, 37 minutes on the 11th, then 34, 36, 32. Good player. I don't mind JJ Redick as a mid-range option. Not a core play, but I do think he's in play. Again, just monitor injury news. If Lonzo comes back, it's going to hurt some of the rotation guys on New Orleans, so we will see. But he hasn't played in a while, so if he does come back, obviously we'll have to shake things up a little bit. But as of right now, we can only guess at this point. Jackson Hayes, another New Orleans guy, third guy in a row. He comes in at 5,100. I played him on versus Portland 2 nights ago, and I was very, very happy with him until he barely played in the second half, because I could have easily took down my single entry. I believe I finished second or third, and if Hayes even plays a little bit in the second half, I mean, I'm looking at a pretty good day. Had 27 fantasy points. I believe he had 25 in the first half. Second half, he came out after a couple minutes in the third quarter, and then he finally comes back in at the very end of the third, and I think he got a rebound, and then first minute, I think, of the fourth, or it might have been in the end of the third, I can't remember, but as soon as he went back out, hurts his ankle, and they take him out of the game. He gave him a thumbs up saying he could have came back in, but the coach just said nah. I was very disappointed, but he was really good in that game. He looked pretty darn good, and again, we'll have to see who plays or not, but right now Derek Favors is out, and Jahlil Okafor is questionable. If Okafor is out, it's just a lot of minutes for Jackson Hayes here. He should be able to see 30-plus minutes. If Okafor does play, it's going to hurt him a little bit, but I still think he's a pretty solid play here, and especially if he just draws the start, he should see about 25 to 30 minutes versus a Phoenix team who struggles with big men, and they lost Aaron Baines, and they're 23rd versus center, so I think Jackson Hayes would make some sense here at 5,100. Price came up a little bit, but the guy looked pretty good in that last game. Sarge, I'm not really one to play him, but he's been solid. Lonzo Ball, we'll have to see if he plays. I have no idea if he does. He's only 5K, and it wouldn't be the worst play in the world. Josh Hart's out. Simons, he's questionable. I'm going to assume he plays, though. But, I mean, he played 36 minutes last night, so I don't know when he hurt. Not last night, but the last game, so I don't know when he hurt his ankle. But I think he's a pretty good play here as long as he plays, because no Lillard, and his price really didn't move much, 4,400 to 4,700. And Milwaukee's actually 21st versus point guards too. It's going to be a fast-paced game. If he's going to see mid-30s minutes at 4,700 versus Milwaukee, I think that's a pretty good play. He should be able to get you over 25 fantasy points. So Simon's definitely in play for me. Kaminsky, no. Melly, he was, Jackson Hayes, he didn't play too much, and he got to 27 minutes. Especially at the end of the game when Hayes was out, and he had a pretty good game. He's had 3 good games in a row, and he's seen big minutes. 28 minutes versus Miami, 27 fantasy points. 28 fantasy points versus Golden State in 27 minutes. 27 minutes again versus Portland, 34 fantasy points. He's been pretty good. Again, we'll have to see who plays or not with New Orleans. We never have any idea until near locked because they're just a mess down there. But if Melly's going to get solid 25-plus minutes, I think he's in play at 4,500. So keep your eyes on Melly. Kent Bazemore, I think he's a pretty good play at 4,300. I know he was really popular last game. Scored 20 fantasy points. Not great, but not awful either. Well, I was thinking at 4,300 it's not great. At 3,600, yeah, we'll take 20 points. But up to 4,300 now, but I still think he's a solid value play just because Lillard's not, he's not going to be playing. We saw his minutes jump from, 21 minutes to 28 the last game versus New Orleans, so you'd have to expect something similar tonight. He's going to be close to a point per minute. Not going to be exactly right there, but I think he can get you over 25 fantasy points or just right around 25 fantasy points. And at 4,300, I'll take it. It's not too bad. Rodney Hood, he continues to see big minutes, but he just does not produce consistently. 21, 10, 24, 30, that's not too bad. One, he got hurt. But then 14, 12, 32, 19. He's capable of having a decent game, but he's been pretty hit or miss here, so he's more of a GPP play. But at 4,200, he should see big minutes, so I think he's okay, but not something I'm in love with. Nasir Little, I actually like this guy. I recommended him the past 2 games, and he's performed pretty well, and especially in that last game. He continues to be low owned too. He was, I can't remember, he was 7% against Houston, or it might have been a little bit more, but he was really low owned versus New Orleans, and he scored 35 fantasy points. He looked good, only saw 23 minutes, but with Melo, it hurts him a little bit, but still 35 fantasy points, 11 boards, 12 points, had some explosiveness, looked pretty good. He's not a short list for me. Obviously, Melo hurts, but if Whiteside's out, it's going to open up some more minutes for everyone, so we'll have to see, but I do think Little should be on a short list for you because he has looked pretty good. If you want to play Melo, you can. He is, 3,900, I believe. Same price as last time. I'm not personally a Melo guy. He looked decent at spurts, and then he also looked bad in spurts. He had 5 fouls. He had some plays where he looked ugly. He had some plays where it looked good. Personally, I'm not a Melo guy. If you want to play him and take a shot, I get it, but I just really don't want to play Melo. Don't trust putting my money on him. Let's see. There's not really much down here, down low. Hazonia, maybe get a little bit of extra time if Whiteside's out, but I am assuming Whiteside does play, but we'll have to see. But Okafor, if he does play, he's questionable. He's missed he's missed every game since Houston game on November 11th. He's got a chance to play, though. Just not sure, but if he does, I'd expect around 20 minutes, give or take. Probably take, but he's still been at 1.12 points per minute this year, which is pretty good given his price tag. And it's a good matchup down low versus Phoenix, and it's one of the spots they actually struggle against. So Okafor would make some sense if he happened to be playing. Maybe he gets the start over Hayes. We'll have to see. But Okafor, just keep your eyes on the injury news for New Orleans because we got quite a few of those guys. And that's really going to be about it. I don't see anyone else I'd be interested in playing. Maybe Hazonia, just depending on news, but other than that, I guess Carter. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned Carter, actually. So, yeah, Carter at 3,300. I slipped my mind. He definitely would be a pretty good play here at 3,300. Can't believe I almost forgot about him. Didn't forget, though. Almost, but I didn't. Carter, though, he would become a pretty good play at 3,300. Ricky Rubio, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure he is doubtful for this game. I know he's got the Q tag, but, yeah, he's considered doubtful here, so it's going to be sidelined, and Carter would be the guy that definitely going to get some extra minutes here. He saw 24 minutes last game. Rubio did leave the last game early. He only saw 16 minutes. So Carter at 3,300, yeah, he's more than likely going to be the top value play on the slate at 3,300. It's a great matchup versus New Orleans. They are dead last versus point guards, allowing the most points per game to them this season. Last game, he saw 24 minutes. It was a tough matchup versus Boston, as they're a very good defensive team. The game was only 85-99. There was not a lot of points scored, but this game's going to be played at a pretty fast pace. Not a lot of defense going on. Still had 14 points at min price. At 3,300, if he's going to get me 25, 30 minutes here, maybe more with Ricky Rubio being out, I think he's a pretty solid play at 3,300. So definitely just make sure Rubio's out, and then I think Carter would be a fantastic play. I cannot believe I almost forgot to mention the guy. That would have been bad, but good thing I remembered. So yes, Carter would be a great play, and that's really just about it down low. So hopefully I didn't miss anyone else, but yeah, he'd be one of the top plays. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with that. I got to go to bed. It's 1 o'clock. I got to get up and eat breakfast in about 6-7 hours. So I'll leave you guys with that. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, never leave a like. Check out the NFL video if you haven't already. I didn't mean for it to be 30 minutes long. I felt like I was talking for 12 minutes, and then it ended up being 30 minutes. But, oh well. All right. See you guys. I wish you guys the best of luck. Hope you guys had a good main slate.